Hello, Megamaniacs, and welcome back to Homebrew Review. Today we are looking at Jessie Jaeger in Cleopatra's Curse. This one has an interesting story behind it. A month or so ago, I was just casually hanging out on Sarumaru's Discord, #SarroCrew, and somebody said in the general chat, "Hey, would anybody like to help me test my new retail storefront?" I thought, retail storefront? And he wouldn't say exactly what for in the general chat, so I messaged him privately and said, "Hey, what's all this about?" And he said, "Well, I've got this game for TurboGrafx with a CD adapter, or TurboDuo, and it was originally on Kickstarter, and now it's available to the general public, but I haven't really started doing retail sales yet, so I need to make sure this is working properly. That's why I didn't want to say what it was in the general chat." I'm like, okay, I understand that. You're being cautious. You don't want to start selling it to dozens of excited people and then not be able to fulfill their orders. So I'll be your guinea pig. I like TurboGrafx games. I like TurboDuo CD games. What do you got? And he said, "It's Jessie Jaeger in Cleopatra's Curse. It's an adventure game, and if you have a TurboDuo, I think you'll like it." I said, "You got me sold. What's it cost?" And he gave me the information, and I went to the Bold Game Studios website using the link he provided and went through the whole procedure. Added it to my cart, clicked checkout, and he said, "Yeah, it went through. Payment was received." And I said, "When will I get it?" And he said, "I'm going to let the website send you the confirmation email because I want to make sure this process is working thoroughly. If I give you shipping tracking information right now, it won't be accurate." I'm like, that's different, but that's fine. I understand if you have some sort of script that auto-generates it, I'll just wait. And sure enough, I'd say within 24 hours, maybe even as little as 3 or 6 hours, I got an email saying, "Congratulations on your purchase, your order will be shipped to this address," and everything looked correct and proper, so I was like, sweet. I'm getting a new TurboGrafx TurboDuo game that I didn't even know about before I made this transaction. I'd like to note in advance as you watch this footage that I don't have any way to play this on an emulator, and I don't have a capture card for my TurboDuo, and even if I did, it would be a real pain to find a way to hook it up because my TurboDuo is mounted in a cabinet along with an Atari 5200 and a 3DO, and getting anything in or out of there with all the cords already running in and out would be extremely difficult. So please accept that I'm capturing it the best way I possibly can, with a smartphone mounted to a tripod pointed directly at the screen while the game was playing. Let me tell you a little more about the game from the Kickstarter that was originally used to fund this game. It had 345 backers that pledged $27,468 to make this game a reality. Here's what the Kickstarter's creator Kyle Thompson had to say when it was first launched. Jessie Jaeger in Cleopatra's Curse is a new Metroidvania-style game for Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx 16, and TurboGrafx Super CD. Explore Cleopatra's crypt to find the pieces of her sarcophagus and save your grandpa from her curse. Cleopatra's Curse is near completion already. All footage provided is recorded directly from in-game. The Super CD version is complete and will be sent for manufacturing once the Kickstarter has finished. The Sega Genesis version is nearly finished. Production will begin soon after Super CD. Why Kickstarter? This will help me determine how many copies to produce, as well as allowing me to purchase the equipment to generate more retro games for these consoles in the future. Why no stretch goals? The game is complete, and thus adding major changes to the game might delay it or cause unexpected issues. Seems from that like Mr. Thompson is pretty straightforward and on the level, which really isn't surprising to me since I got the game in the mail after I purchased it, but it is good to know that somebody launched a Kickstarter and set realistic expectations like, "Hey, I already have a game, I want to know if you guys want it, and if you do, I'll print a bunch of copies and send it out." And people apparently responded enthusiastically to that because it was funded fully, and it was sold and sent to people. So, congratulations, Kyle. You did a good thing. You had a Kickstarter that fulfilled its promises and was worth people putting their money into. It shouldn't be rare to say that because Kickstarter should be for projects that people are able to fulfill, but as we all know from watching things like Slope's Game Room, that doesn't always turn out to be the case. Here's the team for you. Kyle Thompson, aka Dark Kobold, he did the programming and the game design. Mishirin is a pixel artist and remixer extraordinaire. For more information about her, go to the Dark Kobold Kickstarter. There's a link to her YouTube channel. Derek and Brandon Feister did the fantasy music that you hear throughout the game, and there's a link to their Bandcamp here as well. DBFIECHTER, bandcamp.com. And Tennokoe wrote the chiptunes for Genesis, TENNOKOE, bandcamp.com. The game features 480 rooms, 6 boss fights, 2 different endings, 3 different weapons, many items to collect and secrets to find, Red Book audio using Sega CD, save game support, and 6-button controller support for Genesis and TurboGrafx-16. There are a couple of asterisks next to those last 2 items, so I should add the additional information that Kyle added. Number 1, SRAM is on cart for Sega Genesis CD unit internal memory or Turbo Booster Plus for TurboGrafx-16. Number 2, TurboGrafx-16 consoles require an adapter to use any PC Engine 6-button game. Gamepad adapter not included. And then he says, rather than tell you about the game, try it for yourself. Which I assume was another reason this Kickstarter was successfully funded in full, because he put downloads for the Genesis version, the Super CD version, and even some fan art available to print on your CD if you wanted to keep the demo copy that you burned. That's really going the extra mile. As for the game itself, I can say I had a lot of fun playing it, and it reminded me of a lot of retro games that I have played over the years and am well familiar with from childhood on to the present day, starting with Montezuma's Revenge. I got that vibe almost immediately from the platforms, the ladders, the ropes, the keys you have to collect to unlock different areas. That is a very nostalgic feel, and even if that wasn't a direct inspiration from Cleopatra's Curse, I appreciate it. Now, he did describe it on the Kickstarter as a Metroidvania, and I can see that part as well, because there are areas that you can't access until you get items, so a little bit of backtracking is required. For example, there's a boomerang that you need to collect to activate the switches. I was trying to jump and reach the switch, and even if I ran and jumped and landed on it, it still wouldn't activate. So without the boomerang to throw at the switch to flip it on and off, you're not going to be able to advance to that part. So you're going to have the Metroidvania, Castlevania Metroid style forward tracking, backtracking. To some people that's a negative, but if you like the genre, that's a positive because it rewards you for exploring. When you get items, you get new areas opened up to you that you can explore and go further into the game and get to the next level, next area, next mystery, next dungeon boss, next whatever, and you get to explore more and it sucks you into the story. It's a fairly simple story, to be honest. Your grandpa was some sort of explorer, archaeologist, and Indiana Jones type. He ran into the curse of Cleopatra and got transformed into a stone statue. And now that he's cursed, he needs somebody to rescue him. So Jessie Jaeger is on her way to save the day and find the cure for what ails her grandpa and save her from Cleopatra's curse. I don't think you need more of a premise for an exploration game than that. It's good enough. It doesn't have to be, oh my god, here's this epic heroic journey. You're battling Ganon and saving Hyrule and rescuing the princess. No, this is just fine. Your grandpa's been cursed. Now go save him. Get through these dungeons, find these items, and do whatever you have to do, defeat whatever bosses you have to defeat, and save the day. Hooray! There are challenges to this that keep you on your toes throughout. You have falling platforms, which I didn't expect right away. You have rolling spikes that will continue their progress down the screen. They don't just move on a fixed loop. And as mentioned, you need the boomerang to access different areas that you couldn't previously get to. But it also helps you because it's the first weapon you get where you can help from taking damage from the bats and snakes and other things that fly around and snake around and pester you in various ways. You can throw the boomerang at them to knock them out, and you get points for that. But you also get points for the items you collect. So besides solving the mazes and exploring till you get all the things you need, there is a score element here where if you're keeping track of your score, you can play it that way, and you could even do speed runs for first to get to so many points or first to clear this section of Cleopatra's Curse. I'm sure you could set up a speedrunning board for any number of criteria with this game. It has a lot of different things to offer. The graphical design is very pleasing. It's not quite cartoonish, but it does feel animated and friendly in a 16-bit pixel way. The sprite is large and colorful for Jessie Jaeger. She's very good at moving back and forth. It doesn't look janky. There are enough frames of animation that keep you on track when you're moving from one room to the next. Everything is easy to access. You hit the run button to go down to the menu and select your items, as I just did here with the boomerang. And it also shows you the map of the area that you're in if you've collected the map, and keeps track of your money and how much time you've been playing and all of those other important facts. Switching screens from platforming to items reminds me a little bit of A Link to the Past or Link's Awakening, and I think that's just fine. It's a very good way to switch from gameplay to selecting items from your inventory, so if it works, why not borrow from it and use it for your own? There's obviously a fixed number of tiles to generate all of the rooms and the items in each room, but they're nice and colorful, and they don't tend to overstay their welcome by repeating themselves too much. You get variations like these broken pillars and these light fixtures on the wall, so everything is kept interesting as you move from one fixed screen to the next. You even get skeletons here and there to remind you of the unlucky travelers who did not fare as well as you or your grandpa. I mean, he may have been turned into a stone statue, but at least you could still save him. He's not a pile of bones. Having not bought a Super CD-ROM game, let alone a Homebrew CD-ROM game for TurboDuo for quite a while, I was very pleasantly surprised by Jessie Jaeger and Cleopatra's Curse. I thought maybe this game would only have me demonstrating it for a few minutes, but I kept on playing even after I was done filming because it's that much fun. And the best news is that you don't even need to have a TurboDuo or a TurboGrafx with the CD attachment to play it, because he has ported it to a wide variety of platforms, as I mentioned when I was reading all of the listings on Kickstarter. So if you have something other than TurboDuo and you want to play this, you've got the choice. Just go to BoldGameStudios.com, check out his retail storefront, and see which version would work for whichever console you have. Or if you don't have any of those consoles, choose a digital-only version, play it in emulator, and I'm sure you'll have some fun there as well. I might just pick up the Sega Genesis or the Game Boy versions just so I can do that and see how they compare to this one right here. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. This has been Homebrew Review, and thank you to Dark Kobold for giving me the chance to be the guinea pig and be the first person to buy his game from his retail storefront. I'm glad I did. It was well worth it. See you all for another Homebrew Review when the next one is ready to do.